Hello again. Welcome to Indiana Tech's TESPA match against Robert Morris University. And so we're looking for keeping the Spiteful here, definitely. We got a really bad mulligan, but having Spiteful in your hand at turn 1, pretty good. You can turn that into just a turn 6, you definitely want to have it. So it's not worth giving it up for early game. Ooh, you guys are hearing that. I probably need to turn that down, plug that into a headset or something. Let me just change this up a little bit. There we go. All right. So now we have pretty much all of our late game cards in our hand really early, and we just had to play this out of tempo. We just had to bring it out on the board. They're running a big spell mage, and it basically holds us. Hi YouTube. It holds us at bay all of our early game. So Tar Creeper is pretty good here. Obviously, it's our only play, but it's pretty strong. He can only trade with it once. He'll probably ping his own Acolyte and then trade it in just for the extra card draw. But that's actually really good for us because it stops them. They don't have a turn. And the less turns that they spend early on, I mean, they're not going to develop much anyways because they just pretty much want to have a large hand of multiple spells. But the less they can do, the better for us. So they actually didn't trade it in. They value just pinging it over and over again. Which I understand as well, actually, because they can ping it multiple times, and if we're gonna trade it, he'd rather it kill our 2/1. But we went ahead and silenced it so that it cuts off their card draw early on. Pretty good play. Now they're just deciding whether or not they trade it in here, and I think it's pretty clear that you just go face. If they Fire Blast or whatever this is called, Fireball. Yeah, Fire Blast this. That's actually 2 mana down the drain for them, and it lowers their turn by a lot. So this turn, since we can't trade with it, we just go face, hero power, go face, and just sit on this damage. Which we've done a pretty good job whittling them down so far. Game's been pretty slow. They've already used coins, so they're looking to fish for secrets right here. Turn 5 is pretty good. You can play the secret the turn you discover it. Yeah, there's tons of secrets that actually could be. A lot of people don't run Mirror Entity. It's one of my favorites. They banned Warlock, so it's probably not Potion of Polymorph. Probably the best secret to run against them. Spellbender possible. Ice Block probable. Explosive Counterspell. It's probably... I was gonna say it's probably Counterspell. And this plays around Explosive Rune really well. Because this minion just tanks it and dies. Oh, and that's probably the single best card they could have gotten. Because it basically gets around all of their spells, all of their single target spells. They run a lot of AoE board clear, but they can't polymorph it at all. They can't double Fireball, which I'm not sure if they actually run Fireball, but... So next turn we're looking at 7 mana. Lots of plays we can do here. We can play both of these, and playing Mistress of Mixtures is something that we probably don't want to do since we're in such a lead right now. Okay, so Arcane Artificer is really strong. That gives them 8 armor and allows them to trade with it. Pretty good play by them to get some more health in their pool. Now, the chances of this being vaporized... Goodness gracious, every time I think it's vaporized, or don't think it's vaporized, it is, so now I'm very scared for them. Couple good plays here. You got your Malfurion, which gives you a really good hero power to use over and over again. It allows us to trade with all their small things on board next turn. But also just flooding right here. I think these plays are actually pretty weak. You probably want to save this for some of the other things if they run their Lich King. I think there might be some value to playing these cards, but they definitely have enough to punish things like that. Being turn 6/7, they have got their 5-mana Dragon Strike. They've got their 6-mana Blizzard, 7-mana Flame Strike, which all give a lot of armor. I think our main priority is getting these off the board here. I think you silence one of these and trade with one of them, or you just go face with the 12 damage and just test. All right, so now we are 1 turn away from seeing lethal. If there's a good chance they trade these into the Spellbreaker, so that's why we went ahead and played our Tar Creeper, forcing their AoE spells to actually come out. Next turn we want to look to Lich King. Very hard for them to kill that off as well as any other creatures, because it has 8 health. Pretty difficult minion to target. And these spells, just getting this out as early as possible, pressuring the board, pressuring our late game value is just really good for us. So we pretty much just want to leave Malfurion. Not really a good time to play him right now. Wow. And so they're playing a double taunt play with The End Is Coming. If only we could have drawn our other silence. I'm not sure if there's a way to actually clear past this. That is pretty difficult for us. Because we can't get through one of these. You could just Malfurion here just to go ahead and get it out. We could do 1 damage to face and then Malfurion. That's probably the best play. We lose these 2 spiders, but at least we get the hero power out, which allows us to start cooking up armor, allows us to start turning in damage for trades.
Try to predict the charm.
Lich King is possible, but it's probably not the best. And this armor just stacks, so... Now both of their Artificers are going to be gone now, so there's no way that they can generate any armor. They don't have any healing. They're going to have to play off of Ice Blocks and random spell generation. Yeah, this is definitely the best play here. They have to commit to it, though. I wonder which one they chose. It didn't matter. So Medivh comes out, and they're going to look to start popping off spells to increase value on board. We can just Lich King and then Glacial Shard this bad boy, so this thing can't move. which means that any of their spells need to go straight into Lich King, otherwise we're going to get way too much value. Since we're also in a really good destroy all minions, remove the top card from... That's weird. Pretty useless. Or so far, at least. But we could actually just pressure damage to them with Plague Lord right here, just constantly getting the damage, hitting face over and over again. Because it's just 2 mana, basically just like a really strong hero hunter power. Hunter hero power. So that's their second polymorph, actually. And they got a pretty average 4-drop. Looks like we're only going to pressure 1 damage to face. Never mind. So this is looking more and more like Counter Strike, or Counter Spell. But we're top decking pretty weak cards. I think there's value in going like wide here just to draw out some of their wave clear. Or their AoE. Or we're playing Doom Pact. This, we already got our Malfurion out. We've already gotten Lich King out. I think milling a Spiteful feels pretty bad. But honestly, the ultimate infestations are probably not going to go through because we can't play 2 in 1 turn and we don't have coins. So the counterspells will probably match up to these. I wouldn't be surprised if one of these was a dead counterspell in hand, and that's the counterspell in front. Okay, so this decreases the amount of mill. Mire Keeper, that's good. That's bad, but okay, so we milled 3 pretty useless cards. And so now we're just going to want to play that, hero power, and go face. Definitely get the 3 attack, push 3 damage. Pretty strong play, actually. That Lich King card actually ended up being amazing. Now, I wouldn't be surprised if they were to just Blizzard or Fireball just to get a card out of them. Okay, so Firelines is really good for them. They get a 7-drop and a 5-drop. Let's see what they get. Okay, that's a terrible 5-drop. And that's a average 7-drop. So, they've got a lot of value, but they're running low on health. So that is definitely a counterspell, I'm pretty sure. Oh wait, no, it's not, because we baited it out with our with the Lich King card, so it has to be Ice Block. Or I guess it technically can still be Spellbender. Spellbender is it's run sometimes. I think people will run 1, but I don't have their lineup right now. But since they're such a control-based team, I bet you it's Ice Block. So there's good value with Ultimate Infestationing his face, and then looking for pressure, because it puts us in a situation to win next turn. I think there was another play here as well. And that was playing all of these cards. Well, not this one, but playing these 2 cards and hero powering and putting them at 5. But maybe it was better to get the spell out now while they still don't have any armor or other counterspell. Alright, so their board's actually huge right now. We can't really deal with it, and so maybe using our second UI on their Abomination's probably the best play here. Let's see what we got here. This is a shit card now because we don't have the UIs. We just used 1. Oh wait, did we get it back? Yeah, so this is our second UI. This gives us good value right now as well. Keleseth gives us value for the rest of the game, so getting this out is actually pretty good, even though it doesn't affect any of these. I mean, this is just a terrible 6-drop right now, and Hungry Crab are techs that don't really work here. So maybe just going wide, and then... Well, it's hard to go wide here just because of this 4-4. And we mill a lot if we UI, because we have 9 cards in hand, so it's almost like we want to play Hungry Crab, Keleseth. Or Keleseth and 2 4-drops. That's probably pretty good. Yeah, so they're going to Keleseth, and then I would be, yeah, play that, Hungry Crab, and then either Chain Gang or Mire Keeper and 2 Slime. I think there's value to Chain Gang just because they have so much damage on board right now. It might be better to get more taunts out early, but maybe this is the better play. It doesn't really matter. We just have to get things out of our hand so that our UI is good. Alright, so they give a full clear here. And all of their big dudes go straight to face. So they've got a lot of damage on board. We can't really do anything about it. We've got 3 taunts playing through here. And then maybe it's better to play this Mistress of Mixtures. I think playing Mistress would have been better here just because it trades in and heals. Especially if he AoEs this whole thing down. But maybe we're trying to hold on to our way to kill them.
I'm almost there. Actually, wall them in, wall them in. Now. You didn't have to follow through with that. You just had to.
So the meteor lands, kills these two. And they actually come out with a win here.
Come on, Link.
Yeah, all of the Medivh weapon charges got some pretty average cards, but it ended up being too much for us to handle. So Robert Morris picks up a game. Robert Morris 1, us 0. Game 1 down. Their big spell mage is out. And now we're deciding what we're going to play next. Looks like we're going to take a restroom break and we'll be right back. So while they're waiting, oh, it looks like they're pretty... I was going to draft an arena deck while we were waiting, but it looks like JT just got back. Alright, so this is really good for us. We got a pretty slow control 1v1 here, but we also have Spiteful Summoner really early on turn 2. So we at turn 5 we're looking to play it. Maybe do something like put up these taunts and then play it. Grand Archivist, pretty okay card, not the best. We don't typically want to play it until we've gotten both of our Spitefuls out because it actually does burn the spell out of the deck. Another Spite Historian, pretty nasty. Honestly, the Dragon Discovery chain's pretty strong. If you can go Nether Spite into Operative, you can get a lot of value out of it, but we'll see what they pick. Obviously, they haven't decided it immediately. We don't really have a very good play turn 2. Oh, we got our other Spiteful Summoner. That's really good. We can do a turn 5 and 6. So we really don't want to coin out. I think we have to Hero Power and go face and pass up on playing Stonehill because we need to keep that coin for the big Summoner play. So Stonehill allows them to discover some taunts, give them some range to play with in the mid game. They could also look to play like something extremely late because they already have both of their Spiteful Summoners, and so they might want to just look for like a really big card that they can play later after they go for the double Spiteful. Wow, and they actually get double Nether Spite, which allows them to generate even more dragons. Holy moly. So they definitely have at least 2 dragons in their hand right now. This one was the dragon they found, and now this next 4th card will be the dragon they discover. So we're not taking much damage. We're not really worried. That Power Word Shield doesn't really do much. We definitely just want to play Stonehill here and just chill. So Sleepy Dragon is actually not that bad here. I think they're probably going to go with Serenite because you can play maybe both on 8 or play it with another card on 8 or 7. But Sleepy Dragon's actually not bad. Just because it's like we already have like pretty much all of our turn plays. Like we're looking to, we have a 6 play. Yeah, so they obviously go Serenite. So having double Serenite feels pretty good too. Because you're pretty much just going to be sitting on it. On all those taunts. And their Nether Spites can't get through this, so this matchup's going to be extremely slow. This is a really good draw here. So what we can do is we can just play this and trade with this, and then just play Mistress of Mixtures. And we can trade with her next round, and we don't really care. We just want to trade early. We're not looking to like get big heals off of this. But that's arguable. Maybe they might just go for like the taunts up, because then these both trade into this. And then we don't take any damage, and we still have a 2-3 on the board with the Serenite play. But this is a pretty good play, because this is actually a pretty aggro card, and it contests a lot on board, so I like it. I like this and Mistress of Mixtures. Because then they just trade they can't trade into it. And if they do, they take more damage on board than they would heal, so probably a pretty good play. Just tag that, and then play Mistress. And then trade. Alright, so they're going with the Spellbreaker. I think this play is fine too, because it goes down to 1, and it trades and uses up all their mana. And that buff is technically a 6 health buff, so it's essentially the same card, except this costs 4 mana. But maybe the Silence would have been more valuable. And so since they're playing around turn 5, they save Dragon Slayer for this one card. Operative, known to have 6 health, because it does. Probably the best use of this card, because it's so easy to cut down in the mid game. But the bad thing is they don't really have comfort to do it. They're making a play based on like convenience, like if they play this, but then they don't have a 2-drop that really makes sense to play with this card next turn, because they can easily coin Spiteful to take over the game, depending on what they get, of course. Looks like they trade in. She dies. They might be playing around next turn. Well, actually, I don't know why they did that. 2 damage. Unless they have a Holy Smite in their hand. Which they don't. Alright, so we have like 3 Serenites. We've got just bored for days. So we have to go for this play. And you play the earliest one. Alright, let's see what we draw. Pretty decent play, actually. There's no anti-B synergies that they're running. This is just a well-statted minion. It trades a lot. It pretty much just kills all of these mid-game creatures. It doesn't push a lot of damage phase. Like, it's not like a 12-12 or anything, but it's still pretty strong. So they're trying to decide whether or not they want to trade. And I don't think trading gets them anything here. I think they just go face and do damage. It just seems too valuable. Yeah, you wouldn't want to waste that damage. If they're spending turns healing, they're not spending turns placing minions on the board. And also, this dragon deck actually doesn't have a lot of healing in it. Once again, I don't have their lineups with me, even though our team has access to them, but I'm fairly certain they don't have any healing. So, we're sitting pretty. They're trying to decide whether or not they want to trade here. They don't really... If they have a way to buff these, maybe they trade into the 4-2, but I don't think they get those. Shadow Ascendant's end of turn. They don't run Kobolds, which is also end of turn. 5-6 can go into the 4-4 because they're definitely looking to stabilize, but they can also trade into the 4-2. So the Acolyte, yeah, this card's insane. It steals the health, and then Potion of Madness, they look to trade with the 4-2. Pretty strong play, but still the 2-10 comes back to us. Pretty good play by them. We don't get to actually actively trade on the board. Now, this Silence could easily silence this back down to a 2-4, which lowers their damage per turn by 5, or we could just go for the next Spiteful play. And I think it's probably the most appropriate play, being that it just has the most possible value. Maybe we can get our other Ultra Sword, give this guy a little smiling friend. Look how happy he looks. Aw, close. He got a big, gross Sea Giant. Sea Giant's pretty strong. It's a lower end card, I think, for 10 drops, but it's pretty valuable. It trades with everything on board. Their 7 goes straight into it, but we have to push this damage phase because we don't actively trade with something that has 2 health or 2 attack. So far, our double Spiteful plays put it as pretty low value. I think next turn we definitely look to play, a Serenite and a Dragon Slayer and save this Spellbreaker. We definitely don't want to play Archivist anytime soon, unless we've got our whole hand completely empty, because it's going to auto-cast Ultimate Infestation, which isn't something you can necessarily play for free. You have to have an empty hand. And this might be a game where Mistress of Mixtures actually just stays in our hand the whole time, which kind of sucks, but it does mean that we're winning in tempo if that's the case.
I have no clue why our name is top.
So, somehow, the other team always gets to steal our hero power with Dragon Operative. Honestly, that card is just pissing me off at this point. So now they lost their healing, but they picked up a 3 armor per turn card. Pretty strong. He got the Poisonous Spiders, which trade into anything. We could just play Serenite here. Yeah, these trade in pretty well into these two things, so they're kind of forced to play them. So what they're doing now is they're just flooding the board to make room for Ultimate Infestation. Even though it's going to heal them up 8 health, it gives us an ability to win the game through the next plays, because we can just completely flood the board and take out one of their cards. I mean, actually, we don't get to choose where it goes, because we're probably going to get it through Grand Archivist. Power Word Shield's pretty good here. It allows it to hit twice. They clear one, clear the next, and then it goes into the 2-1 with the 1-2. They actually went face. I find that interesting. Maybe they're looking to look at us make that trade. I think a good play actually is you might mill a card whenever you draw next turn, but you could trade both Mistresses in. Everyone heals to full, and then you ultimate Infestation off the Archivist, which either hits your face, their face, or the 2/10, which leaves you with a 2/5, a 5/5, a 4/8, and so much more cards in hand. There's not really a win condition that we're going to mill, so I think it's fine to do that. And so instead it looks like they're just looking to flood the board. Oh, and they silence the 2/10 and get its 7 attack back. That's an insane play that I completely forgot about that. You typically forget about it because they change whenever you nerf something's attack down, it stays at 7, or it stays at this white color, but if you silence any card like that, it goes back to its original stats. That's an incredible play. I always feel like such a casual when I watch these guys play because I do stuff like this. So they use their second Potion of Madness and just ran a Serenite into the 7/8. Lich King is so good here. They're kind of running low on board control. So I could easily see us just playing more minions. I think we save our Dragon Slayer for a good operative play because they only have one left. I think the fact that we're getting lower on cards is good that we can use this, but playing Malfurion and then Hero Power and to clear this is pretty strong as well. And then we trade the Cobble by killing it with our big boy. And that's pretty strong too, because it keeps this at a 7/4. Or we could just go face. I bet you they just go face though. Yeah, because see, that's what I'm learning. Like, if you might as well just pressure damage when you're going to win the game. I'm just thinking about how we win board, but that's actually like not how you play around it. Because if we trade, it's okay because Duskbreaker can't kill this. It only kills 4/3 because this would be down to 4 health. It only does 3 damage. But we might as well be pushing 7 damage a turn to their face because we're in the driver's seat of this game. We can also look for an RNG Grand Archivist, but next turn we definitely want to play Lich King and Hero Power just to push 3 damage and also start churning out this high value cards. These high value cards rather. Like Anti-Magic Core or whatever it's called. Pine Size. This only clears... Oh, they double Pine Size into Shadow Word Horror, I suppose. So that's a 3-card combo, and we didn't really play a lot. And that doesn't really give them victory. They definitely want to look for healing up a little bit with Plague Lord. There's a bunch of different plays we can go for here. We can actually Grand Archivist and look to hit their Cobble with our UI that's in the deck that we haven't seen. Or we could just go for the more consistent play and play Lich King, which pressures more damage on board, and then trade and go, or not trade, but hit him in the face. Which I really like that play. Honestly, I think this is the better play overall, but this play can be insane, because if it hits him in the face, it puts him at 11. If it hits this, it puts us in a situation to pretty much kill them next turn, and we get so many more cards out of our deck. Also, we'd be in a good spot because we'd get 9 cards when we draw the 5, and then the next card we draw won't be milled. But I think it depends on what you get from Lich King, honestly. Because if you get the Death Coil, do 5 damage, pretty strong. Good reach. The Anti-Magic Core is pretty strong. I'd have to look up some of the other cards. Alright, so we're going for the Hail Mary. I'm a big old fan of this play. Hit him in the face. And then let's hit this guy right here. If I click it enough, it'll happen. Ah! Hit it. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. That's a big XD right there. But we got all these cards to work with, and thank goodness we actually drew the other UI, so we don't actually constantly churn that out. So let's look at it mathematically. We basically made this play, gave us more cards in hand, and we have 9-7 on board instead of an 8-8. So technically it's the same play, same value of stats. So next turn we're working with 10 mana. Depending if they play a dragon here, we play a 3-drop, a 3-drop, and then a 4-drop, perhaps. Like if an operative comes out. Okay, so they have Shadow Word Anduin. That's pretty good for them. It replaces this hero power, which gives them even less healing. It only kills our 5/5, which is really good because now they're lowering their ability to clear out our large cards. And so if we just go wide with bigger cards, like, you know, including Lich King, obviously there's no other big cards in our hand, but it just lowers their ability to get rid of it. And if Lich King turns out value, we typically are in a good spot. Now, we definitely want to get some cards out of our hands, so I could easily see us going Lich King, and then we have 10 cards in hand. We definitely can't do this and then Hero Power, because then we clog up with one of the churned out cards from Lich King. So we definitely want to Lich King, Glacial Shard this, and then play a Hungry Crab, because this will never get value, and it has technically better stats. Well, I guess this still kills it, but we don't want to waste a Glacial Shard when it might delay us like from dying a turn, and we wouldn't want to just freeze their face. It's not as valuable. So I could easily see us going for a Lich King into Glacial Shard, Hungry Crab. I'm trying to think of any other plays here, but the math just doesn't add up. And then play our Hungry Crab. Yeah, so we saw that coming. Now, okay, that's exactly what we wanted right there. If we can get this on a big enough line, like let's say we play Serenite and then this, we can make it to where they can never clear our 4-5 taunts with single target abilities. Now they can like Shadow Word Horror, but they already used one regular pint-sized potion and then one developed pint-sized potion. So they would have to have that card 1 out of 13. It might be in hand. It's possible, but I doubt it. I mean, I guess I really don't know. So you can't really play around that, but I still think this is a pretty nasty play. You might look to play Glacial Shard again just to have another body that gets this, but even then it still doesn't really play around Shadow Word Horror. I think you still keep this in hand. Getting this extra damage might not really be what ends the game, so it might be better to keep it in hand. But we definitely want to start pumping in as much value as possible since we UI'd once, and then we want to just UI again once we get a lot more room in our hand. Wow, they actually got Ysera. So that's really bad for them. They have 18 health, and we have, what? Shadow, that gives us 6. Can we kill them? Yeah, we kill them. We win the game here because it's 6 plus 11, which is 17 plus hero power. So we win. That's a really good game. Yeah, they didn't get any cards out whenever they needed them. Anti-Magic Shell, that's what it's called, not Core. was calling it Magic Core. No one said anything. No one's correcting me. So it's a pretty good game. I mean, I guess I would probably say any game's a pretty good game. So it's 1-1 right now. Our Spiteful Druid, which is our worst deck in our entire like lineup against them, is now out of our pool, which is really good for us. Now we get to move on to our better decks. I believe they banned our Warlock, and they are playing against. They have their Control Priest and their own Paladin. I think it's very likely that we're going to see a Paladin lineup right here. I think they might change off of it. Or they might read that we pick out Paladin here and play their... They might just play their Priest again. But those are their two options, so... Now that I think about it, it's probably realistic that they play their Priest again, because I think their Priest is meant to do well against our Paladin. They're trying to slow the game down and then control and get rid of all of our value, but... Honestly, the way that game went, I think that Priest deck is pretty slow. If we Divine Spirit 1 or 2 times, I think we're just back in it. Similar to how those UIs worked. So I assume that we're going to play our Paladin deck into their Priest deck this next game. Oh, looks like we went out for Spell Hunter. So we knew that they were going to stay on Priest. So this is actually a really interesting starter, because I think this is actually kind of bad, because it doesn't actually help you with trading with anything. Because you can't just whittle stuff down against Priest. This is a really good combo, but I think you also look for Barnes here. So you could probably just keep the Spellstone and look to charge it with your secrets, and then just kind of get rid of both of these. Yeah, so that's what they did. They want to keep this for value. Oh, and they got Barnes. That's so good. And they also got a secret. That's really good too. We just end our turn here. Next turn, we'll probably just play a secret just to go ahead and start charging this, even though you don't get a lot of value out of this. But they have got a lot of Nether Spites, so I guess technically it would trade against us. If we kill 1 or 2 Nether Spites, that's really insane for Explosive Trap. Okay, so we're 2 turns away from not drawing Y'Shaarj. Definitely a possibility, but that's what we're hoping to not do, because it gives us such a huge power curve that they can't deal with for such a long time. They are never able to deal with Y'Shaarj, so... next turn we'll look to Animal Companion, or play any secrets if we can. Okay, so yeah, we Animal Companion here. Pray for Huffer, just to start pushing damage to help with our ramp. Okay, so we got Leokk, not the end of the world, because if we Barnes into Y'Shaarj, or even if we draw it, it even gives us stats for this card, so it's not that bad. We didn't really need Misha, but she does do more damage. I think it's very obvious what's in this. Yeah, it usually is, but... Okay, so we got the combo, that's insane. We play Barnes here, because we have to, not ever risk this. And then look to go face with 2 damage. So Barnes makes a 1/1 version of Y'Shaarj, which pulls out the original Y'Shaarj, and all 3 of the cards are buffed by Leokk. So it makes it hard for him to trade with any of them, because even if he has a Dawnbreaker, it only kills this 2/1 copy. And then maybe he trades into this guy. Really nasty lineup. Additionally, we also have this charged already, and we have got 2 damage loaded in our secret, and we have our hero power to constantly ping over and over again. If he ever goes wide, we've got to Unleash the Hound's Answer, but honestly, I think we're just looking to get in kill command range as soon as possible. So in about 2 turns, hopefully we've whittled them down a little bit. Alright, so he's fishing for anything right now. He's looking for his Twilight Acolyte to steal the damage from Y'Shaarj, which would force us to trade our Barnes into them. But other than that, I don't think he's got a single answer for this.
I think I just get free puppet procs from this line.
Even if you could look for a silence, I don't think they run Ironbeak Owls, even though it's a 3-drop. It's never been a meta ever since they nerfed it. Although now, you know, early game answers would actually probably be pretty good against Warrior, or Hunter. Oh, did they get something? Oh, they got it. So they were able to steal our attack. If there's any way that we could silence this, I wish we could, but now we have to trade into this. We could even look to use Unleash the Hounds here because we have Leok open, and that's really good. I actually love that play. Play Wandering Monster to charge our Spellstone for the next turn, milk the Leok damage, and then we look to play Unleash the Hounds, maybe go full face. Actually, maybe we just don't even trade with this guy. Maybe it plays into Dawnbreaker too much. Or Duskbreaker. But I'm definitely going to want to talk to them about that turn because I think there's almost a... Let's do the math. Let's just do the math. So if we... Let's say we just Hero Power and play this. So that's 4, 6, plus 12. That's 17 damage. Puts them at 9 health. And then we save the 5 damage and... Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, regardless, we still control board. And this way it keeps our Yashraj, our main Yashraj's health up a little bit. And neither one of them pull stuff because obviously they're the only cards in the deck that are monsters. Alright, so they're going to want to look to Duskbreaker as soon as possible and start pinging away some of these cards. But it's definitely going to be hard for them to deal with this board. Next turn we're working with 6 mana. We have these 3 cards together. If they play Operative here. Okay, so they... Oh, I wonder how this works. Do they not... They can't trade with this, and so they're going to look to draw something out of their deck. They got a Northshire Cleric. That's funny. They're making use of our Yashraj. Okay, let's look to pressure damage, and I still think we look to... Actually, we get a big Unleash the Hounds here. Let's do some math. That's 6 plus 7, 9. I think we just won the game. Yeah, we win the game. Wait, we actually win the game. I don't know why they're tracking here. We really don't want to play this. We need to play Unleash the Hounds and then Hero Power, because that's 6 plus 13, 15, and then, yep, so that's lethal. 17 damage. Pretty strong. Leok actually is the unsung hero of this deck. Yeah, I think they're finding it now. That's really funny.
Now we're BMing because I suck at counting. No, I just didn't realize.
What a nasty Leok play.
That was easy.
Well played.
That's why we.
So that's what happens pretty much when you get the Dream play. You get that Yashraj play. It just puts you in it just puts you in the driver's seat for so long, and that Priest deck is way too slow to deal with that kind of tempo. So now Indiana Tech is 2 games up on Robert Morris. We're looking to play the 3rd game. JT and BM. That's really funny. That's one of our players playing the game right now. He'll send me little stupid BM messages in between games. Hey, thanks for the support, Manfred Tull. You'll get this. You'll hear my thanks in about 5 minutes, I think. Or, well, it'll be 5 minutes in the future when you hear this, so thank you. Please stay tuned. We got at least 1 to 2 more games going on here. So it looks like we kept the Crystal Lion and the Stand Against Darkness. I think this is greedy. I think this is a bit of a misplay, considering that they have a Night Juggler in their hand. But, now that I think about it, they also are turn 2, and so I was thinking they want to coin out and Night Juggle and go for early plays. But what they're saying to me right now off of this draw is that they're wanting to look for a turn 4 Stand Against Darkness into Crystal Lion next turn with the other tempo. Called Arms, really strong. Definitely just want a Night Juggler, I believe. because this doesn't contest anything, and nothing that they play can really contest it. They don't get any extra damage. Dawnbreaker, Deathbreaker is 4-drop, not appropriate for the situation. They might ping. They'll probably play something like Power Word Shield and look to trade the Divine Shield off of the Argent Squire, but even then it's a pretty soft play. There's also an argument to coin out Called Arms. Pretty strong card, but it's not really something that wins you the game, so probably not a valuable play. They probably just want to save it for whenever they're looking to reflood the board. So another Glimmer Root. Pretty obvious which one's in these decks. These decks run very specific 1-drops. Not very often you see someone mess that up, because I would like to see them buff this card, actually. Or nerf it, rather. Okay, so we've got lots of cards to play here. Probably play one of these. Okay, it looks like they're just going to go for the coin Called Arms just because of the value off of the Knife Juggler. Excuse me. Okay, so we got the sniper level Knife Juggler taking out the Nether Spite's got a bit of a grudge against her. We don't trade here because obviously we have a lot of tempo on board. We've got a perfectly placed Direwolf Alpha against our 2 priority targets, the highest value card and the best card. So it's just like pretty strong setup right now. This definitely plays in a Dustbreaker. They really want to play it here. So honestly, no hesitation. Next turn, looking to flood. It's arguable that they play these. I think they already have so much board that they might just want to sit on milking the dude button over here. And honestly, they might even want to start trading a little bit. They want to push as much damage possible, but eventually they're going to run into some kind of wave clear, whether it's Shadow Word Horror, just to the natural low attack values of these cards, or Dustbreaker. So they're going to want to use this to recharge. Or maybe even just Hero Power just to get this Crystal Lion out, because it counters Dustbreaker. Or it counters that play, rather. I know around turn 5 they're going to want to look to play their Cobble Priest, because that's what they've been doing. They've been trying to actively use that to contest board. It's really slow, and the character that they steal with 2 attack or less actually loses their attack. Alright, so decent trade here. They might look to heal up or something. Okay, so that lowers the attack and sets up for a pretty good horror. So best play here is probably playing one of these, and then Hero Power, because it gives you more Silverhand recruits for this. Turns this into a 3-drop, and you have a taunt. And they just use 1 Shadow Word Horror. Dustbreaker is appropriate there. And then next turn we can also look to Stand Against Darkness and get the free Crystal Lion. So let's see how they play this. One of these, and then Hero Power. They don't need to use this. Yeah, so that's the best way to get value. Okay, so they trade the shield off, probably because it's a Dustbreaker. I always say that. It's like a buzzword for me, but it's just such an appropriate card. Yeah. And so now we've got this play. This one's kind of hard. Honestly, playing this, and this is probably the best play here, because this doesn't fit into playing this right now. The Stand Against Darkness is kind of like an all-in play, and it doesn't really give us anything. So I kind of like the value of playing this Righteous Protector. It still has taunt, so it covers this up, but this becomes a 6/6. So you get a 6/6, a 1/1, and a 1/1, which is 8 value, and this is yeah, this is only 5 value, and you don't even get to play the Crystal Lion because it's only turn 5. Oh yeah, you don't get to Hero Power. Sorry, bad math. You can't Hero Power because it costs 2. So you waste 1 mana, which is bad, but this overall play covers up a 6/6 pretty strong. And we're looking to pressure damage to face right now, which we don't have a lot of. We're looking to draw a Divine Spirit, or no, Divine Favor. That's the card. It's because they're going to have a lot of control cards in their hands just waiting for their appropriate situations, and we're going to be burning our hand trying to get as much value on board as possible. What's up, Eddie? Our boy Eddie's in the house.
Oh, hey, Eddie. Look at where we went.
Another Glimmer Root comes out. Let's see if they mess this one up. Ah, damn. That'd be so funny. So North Shire Cleric comes out. They heal, get a little bit of draw. Pretty strong for them. Good play. They don't lose board. They can also trade with our board actively. Okay. So the play here is to play Lost in the Jungle, bring this down to 4? Or is it just you play Standing Against Darkness? No. Yeah, you can play Standing Against Darkness and then Crystal Lion. That's probably the best play. You heading out?
Yeah. Working on my essay. Yeah, it's due Friday.
Oh, yeah?
Scholarship.
Hey, good luck with it. If you need help, let me know. If you want me to read it or something.
Yeah.
Just message me on Discord or something. Ah. Thank you for letting me know, Munford.
I'm going in more, but it's the same. No, go Sarah's.
So it looks like we go for the Stand Against Darkness Crystal Lion play. Pretty strong. Floods the board. We get 2 big boys out there. It doesn't play against Crushing Walls very well, so, you know, a bit of a misplay there, but that's okay. So they break the shield.
I think even like Sarah's.
They must have a Dustbreaker in hand that they got from Nether Spite.
You know, evidently only go Sarah's on delay it if someone can one-shot it.
So now we're just basically praying. I think we go all in here and just play this, put this in between it and the tap one. That's kind of all you can do in this situation, look to take back board. We're not really pressuring lethal, but we are looking to flood the board and just get everything out of our hands. They've already played 2 Dustbreakers. Pretty broken card. They definitely have a 3rd one. And we're just looking to get Divine Favor and win the game off of that. If we don't get Divine Favor in the next 3 turns, we're going to be probably in a pretty bad spot. We won't be like dying, but we'll be like almost dying. Or they'll just be slowly taking over the board and like gradually getting, you know, Ysera out. It depends on their turn 8 and 7. If like Lich King or something comes out or Ysera comes out, we're in a pretty bad spot because then we're a race against the clock with value. And all of their value can come from their cards. Our value has to come straight from our deck. Because we don't get slow cards, we get these fast cards. So it looks like we just went for this conservative play. I wonder if they're using Lost in the Jungle to just sit there and charge for Tarim. They're probably keeping it just to have like a big swing, and they're also keeping it for Crystal Lion. Wow.
Cheaters. You can't do that.
Whenever you play a 1 health minion. Wow. They probably like were like they played it and they're like, I wonder if this interaction works, and they're like, oh, let's do it again. Okay, so good thing we saved this. We have to play both of these and pray for some kind of broken stat, like poisonous or health or stealth. That would probably be a good one too. We got Wind Fury, which doesn't really help us at all because they're just going to trade into them really easily with these 3. But you know, maybe he disrespects it and just goes face with the 14 damage. Oh, he stole one. What a badass. He's just taking our guys away. Oh, I really hope it's Potion of Madness. He's going to hit us in the face once and then hit the small one. Pretty good play. Very good use of his abilities. There's so many different ways how this deck plays well into this deck. So this is just kind of like how I was saying. You basically just kind of go aggro, and if you don't get Divine Favor, then you basically don't win the game through turn 8, 9. Rallying Blade's completely useless. They're borderline looking to give up here.
They fight back to the war.
They have to hero. Yeah, you kind of have to give up. If you do the math, we just automatically lose. What up?
Are we losing?
No. Well, I mean, we just lost this one, but it's 2-2. It's been pretty good games so far.
So wait, next one is.
Yep. This is the rubber. This is the last game.
Oh.
But it's okay because we got a really OP deck.
We have Dude Paladin,
We got Dude Paladin versus Dude Paladin.
but our Dude Paladin's better.
Our Dude Paladin has Blood Knight tech, and most people don't run that. So there's a good chance that Blood Knight's it's a 3/3 3-drop that gets +3/+3 for every Divine Shield on the field,
that's right.
and it takes them all away. So there's a chance that we flip-flop into a really good position. And so we didn't draw any of these cards this last game, this Divine Favor. And that's why we ran out of steam and they were able to just like take it out on us. Like they just destroyed us through the mid game. But
Weird.
if we would have drawn this, then we would have won the game for sure.
Yeah, because Paladin usually beats Priest.
Well, not usually. That priest can beat this deck easy, but if they draw this,
Maybe my
we
Priest.
win.
My silly
Yeah, you're level
Divine
20.
Fire.
You're level 20 Miracle
Divine
Priest.
Spirit, Inner Fire.
Yeah, combo priest. Okay, so we went for a full shuffle mulligan. And we got some pretty good rewards off of it,
I'll
honestly.
be back.
Okay.
I haven't had build water yet.
AD Stone in the house. Wow, we actually... Okay, so they run... Do they run Murloc? Oh, they're running Murloc Paladin, right. So our lineup actually could completely destroy if we... Because we've got so much tech in this deck. Some might even call it a tech deck. We can make so much... Like, so many good trade plays. Yeah, Night Juggler, Coin Lost in the Jungle is really strong. There's also an argument for just... Actually, no, you kind of... Yeah, Coin's useless here. We don't really want to save it for anything when we can have such value. I think they look for the double snipe here. We hope one goes into the 2-1. And so far, our Night Jugglers have been on point. They've been sniping, so let's see what happens. Ooh, first one, straight to the mouth. Pretty good stuff. We've pushed 4 damage, and we've got a really good board on. So let's see what happens here. We got 2 turns before we can get Stegodon out. So we definitely want to see to get as many, these guys out as much as possible. So the 2 plays are playing Righteous Protector in this or Argon Squire in this. But having a Divine Shield taunt out, this guy, gets in the way of their only trading tool on board. So, or we just trade right here. Honestly, pushing the damage is really good, but there's an argument for trading.
Kind of like how Victor can do it.
So putting them at 18 health
You know what I mean?
is really good. But in any instance where they get more Murloc buff, it might be hard for us to deal with this because we have to wait all the way to Vine Cleaver. So we value the trade. We hope he doesn't run Consecration, and that's just it. We'll have to examine that play for sure. That's like the only trade-off. All right, let's see what Murlocs come out. Okay, so face, face, face. Let's hope. Oh, he only gets 1 and it goes face. They got 1 Righteous Protector, and so we're going to play this and look for either +3 damage or Wind Fury, which pretty much just doubles our damage. Alright, so we have a pretty good opener so far, Jen. Depending on what we roll off of this... Get this out of my face. Divine Shield's nasty. This is useless. This can be wasted if we don't clear our board fast enough. So we have to go Divine Shield for sure. And now we look to just get trades out. Okay, and 1 win into this. So we look to trade with this guy. We look to go face with as much damage as possible. And we look to kill the 2-1 for sure.
Oh, I should have back. My bad.
Yeah, we don't trade with the 2-2 though, because it's not important. I don't think we make this trade. I wonder about that trade. I do not know why. I guess we're just valuing their Murloc synergy, because it was a 2-2. It was 2-2 Murloc, which can get buffed really hard. There might also be an argument for the fact that we're trying to get as many of these silver hands out as possible so that we can get a Crystal Lion out really cheap and make more room for our own board and for our own buff. But we'll see. So they silenced our little knife guy, which isn't that big of a deal, but it does incentivize us to trade him in. So each silver hand that we make actually reduces the cost by these by 1, and so we actually get to play both of them. I think we just look to push damage right now. We trade, and then hero power, and then go face with all this damage. Okay, so we're going for the greed trade. That's fine. We lose 1 less guy, and we keep our Divine Shield on our taunt, which is really valuable for them not being able to hit our bigger damage cards.
Not on early center. Has to be.
Yeah, so we definitely want a hero power here. Okay, the things that they can play: Equality, Consecration. That's pretty much it. Maybe they play a Blood Knight of their own, whether they have it, which I don't think they do. Although the rest of their list do target Paladin, so they should be like prepared for it. And in 2 turns, we look to play Vine Cleaver and go face, but I don't think we make it there. I think we have a good chance of ending the game, even if we draw like our next buff card. All right, so let's watch these daggers. If these daggers go into our Divine Shields, we win the game. If they go into our tanky minions, they win the game. So we got like a 1-3-4, 4-to-3 ratio. So that actually doesn't get any Murloc. Oh, it went straight into the Divine Shield, so that puts us up for lethal. That's us winning the game right there, because this trades into the lane Divine Shield. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, we've got Tarim. We trade one in. Oh, okay, we should trade one in and then tear him out. That's a good game, though.
I really want to. I mean, I so want to, but I'm not going to because.
So a solid game from Indiana Tech. Got a really good Hunter game. Got a really good couple of Druid games that didn't turn out, but we finally got one. And then we just absolutely rolled them there with the Paladin mirror matchup. Really good play. Another 3-2 finish. We went 3-2 yesterday and 3-2 today, but this one felt a lot more controlled. We knew what we were doing for sure. All right, thanks for watching, guys. I'm gonna take the stream off. I know you guys don't want to watch me play because I'm pretty garbage. And so now we beat Robert Morris. That puts us at top 6, I believe, in varsity. So we're looking to maybe get some stream time through TESPA. We're looking to go to the tournament in California. We're looking to do some big things, and we appreciate all the support. Thanks for watching. We're going to end the stream right now.